Hi, welcome to Juice Bar. Today we're gonna have freezy sake cocktail. So as you know, I'm located here in Japan and I thought why not try to make some cocktail using sake, and I'm gonna start by making like these 3 cocktails which are really easy, don't require anything more than a mixing glass and some alcoholic beverages, and the main ingredient that all cocktail are gonna share is this sake from Ryujin Shuzo in Gunma Ken, mountainy region up here a bit northwest from Tokyo. It's beautiful Gunma. They have a really nice character which is called Gunma-chan, and there is Kusatsu in Gunma, which is a beautiful offspring town. Anyway, that's beside the point. This is 16% ABV. It's called Ose no Yukidoke, and it's not a genshu. I think genshu is supposed to not be diluted after fermentation. The fermentation of sake is made using koji, which is a kind of fungus which produce more alcohol than the normal yeast fermentation used in a western part of the world. So you can get the sake naturally ferment up to 20% ABV or even more. Then it gets diluted down to a lower percentage. This is probably diluted a bit, but still 16%, so it's quite pretty good alcohol level. It's a bit floral, but not sweet, quite dry. Let's get down to mixing. Let's start from a Saketini. It's gonna be sake and vodka. It's gonna be 60 milliliters of vodka. I'm gonna keep this really Japanese. I'm gonna use this Suntory vodka, which is the most neutral vodka I ever tried. And I think it's gonna be my favorite vodka going forward. And then 45 milliliters of this sake. And that's about it. That's all there is to this cocktail. Let's get some ice. And let's give this a stir. The smell is coming up nice. It's nice and floral. Let's strain our cocktail glass. Let me express. The recipe didn't say to express any peel, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I'm gonna express some lemon peel. I think it's gonna match. And there you go, a Saketini, vodka and sake. Cheers. This is better than I thought. Really dry. It's basically just stronger sake, but I think it will make sense as an aperitif, especially if you're preparing yourself to eat some Japanese food, just right before having some sushi. This will be perfect. It doesn't say much more than what's advertised. It's sake and vodka. It's decent and probably a pretty decent aperitif. Let's go on to the next drink. So for our next cocktail we're gonna have a sake martini. We're gonna start with Carpano Dry in the amount of 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon. And then we go on with equal parts gin and sake. So 50 milliliters of our sake and 50 milliliters of gin. I'm gonna use this Hokkaido Shakotan Honoho gin. It's the normal one, not the bouquet version. It's nice. It has a bit of spice. It has a good amount of juniper and a nice aroma of lavender and other flowers. I think this should be delicate enough to let the Sake speak for itself. Let's get some ice. Let's stir. Let's strain this. Express some lemon peel. I don't have any Japanese citrus in the house, so lemon will do. A sake martini. Cheers. Now we're talking. Well, I much prefer this one. It just has a bit more going on. The juniper, the flowers from both the Shakotan gin and the sake interplay with each other, and it's nice. Yeah, this is okay actually. I would still consider this a dry martini even though it has 45 milliliters of sake. Normally the martini just have like 10 milliliters of something else beside the gin. In this case we have quite a lot beside the gin, but blends successfully and keep everything dry and nice. Yeah, I like this. Okay, there you go. Let's put this on this side. And let's go on with our third and last cocktail, which is gonna be a variation on a Manhattan. It's gonna be called Little Venice. So let's start with sweet vermouth. I'm gonna use this Lustau, which is a bit weaker than Antica formula I usually use, in the hope that it's not gonna overpower the sake flavor of the cocktail. Then we go on with 25 milliliters of Fuji single grain whiskey. I'm using this instead of bourbon because it's a really bourbon-like whiskey, but from Japan. It's really nice actually. I really like it. I used it before in a few videos already. Yeah, it's nice. It's a really good idea they had these guys at Kirin to make a bourbon instead of the other more traditional way of making whiskey in Japan, which is derived from what Masataka Taketsuro taught everybody here, which was inspired by Scotland mainly. It's a good diversification for the Japanese market, and I think it's a really good product. Anyway, let's conclude this cocktail with 50 milliliters of our sake. Let's get some ice. This Manhattan variation didn't prescribe any bitters. I wonder if that's gonna be fine or it's gonna be lacking a bit in spice. Let's see. Strain in our cocktail glass. Let's express some orange peel. And maybe let's get a maraschino cherry. And there you go, a Little Venice. Cheers. Not sure about this. While I think about it, let's bring in the other cocktails of our day. Let me go over them one more time. Let's start from the first one, which was the Saketini with just vodka and sake. In its simplicity, it's pretty decent. I'm surprised how much I'm liking that, because usually I'm not a big fan of vodka, but it goes well. It works surprisingly well, and yeah, I think it would be an excellent aperitif drink in the right context. Then let's go with the sake martini, which I really like. Yeah, just straight down the classic dry martini puff, and it's pretty damn good as dry martini go. Yeah, it's nice, no problem. And then let's finish with this one, which I'm still thinking about, the Little Venice. Let me rinse my mouth with a cherry. This Little Venice is okay, but barely. I don't know, something is off with it. I think it needs more alcohol or more body. Anyway, it's a bit thin for being a Manhattan style cocktail. Yeah, I don't know if it's the vermouth or the amount. Maybe you should switch and have less sake and more bourbon-like whiskey. Maybe it would be better. So for me, this one, not quite there. I think I saw online older variation of the Manhattan featuring sake, and I think I'm gonna try those next. Maybe the lack of bitters also influence this cocktail. While it's a win, definitely for the sake martini and the saketini. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, share whatever you like and don't like. Steal yourself something with sake, if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers.